boxing. About to hit you everywhere but under your feet with this one. No talk, no racism. Should have been given my prediction on this fight. I caught on to it late. That's November the 9th. I found out about it today. But we're gonna go in on it. We're gonna talk about it. And no bias talk, no racism as usual. This is a fair and square channel. I give you my opinion of boxing and boxing only. Okay, we got Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos. And, let's give respect to both of these fighters for giving us entertainment, in a deadly sport where a man could lose his life at any time. So I want to give respect to both fighters, most of all to Edwin De Los Santos, simply because when it came down to the contract situation, this man didn't budge. He didn't negotiate. He went straight into what he said he was going to do, and he said he wanted Shakur Stevenson. He went into a fight. He didn't do the Frank Martin. He didn't do the Frank Martin. First, I got to be a little comical. I will say that De Los Santos reminds me of a Charlo brother who's a step brother. He's angry. He's aggressive. He comes out there to win. He's capable of winning in this fight, shall I say. A lot of people going to see this as a 50-50 fight. I don't now, since I've been watching, certain tape on what's been going on. De Los Santos already has one loss to, I think his name is Foster the Third. I can't think of his first name. I don't want to say it the wrong way, so I'm gonna say Foster the Third. Unfortunately, there's no tape, no fight on how he lost that fight. But from what I heard is that he fatigued in later rounds, and that's how he got his first loss. But in the sport of boxing, for those that don't know, if you're a casual, a loss doesn't mean anything. A loss only teaches a fighter, what they should, work on and how they should come back even stronger. So I want to give a salute to Edwin De Los Santos for taking this fight when Shakur Stevenson has been ducked by many fighters. So salute to Edwin De Los Santos. Frank Martin, you ducked, you ran. So we're going to give props to Edwin De Los Santos. And now, like I said, people going to look at this fight and they're going to think it's 50-50. This is Shakur Stevenson's toughest fight. Edwin De Los Santos is a southpaw fighter, which he fights left-handed. A lot of people go, if you're a real boxing channel, you're going to go and look at the flaws and imperfections of a fighter, and you're going to look at their losses. Now, he has a loss against Foster III, which he's orthodox. Like I said, there's no footage of it, but you will go to and see that there's another southpaw out there named Valenzuela. Now, Valenzuela is a good fighter. He was undefeated until he met De Los Santos, but you have to look and see why is it that Valenzuela was defeated. Valenzuela was defeated simply because he didn't create distance. Valenzuela, he's a good fighter. He had strong. He's a strong puncher as himself. He knocked De Los Santos down, and he just had flaws in his game that night that he should learn from. That if he has a good coach that will teach him that he needs to create distance and not stand there in the pocket and fight a power puncher. That was his first mistake. And now, in that fight, you will clearly see that De Los Santos, caught him with, a lot of hard shots in the middle of the ring, a lot of power punches in the middle of the ring where he stood in front of him, which he shouldn't have been doing. If he created distance, that probably would have never happened to him. Now, going against Shakur Stevenson, and when you're going against two southpaws, I always call. Now, one thing I like against De Los Santos is that De Los Santos is not a one-dimensional southpaw, and I explained that in my last video about Demetrius Andrade. He throws an arsenal of punches. He feints, he throws, rights, lefts, uppercuts, jabs, straight left hands. He does everything necessary to win. So I love that about De Los Santos. But then you also have to remember the fact that this is Shakur Stevenson. You have to remember the fact that this is Shakur Stevenson. This is a guy whose defense is at the lower rate of Floyd Mayweather's at 4%. Floyd was at 8, if I'm not mistaken, which means Shakur Stevenson barely gets hit. And one of the reasons Shakur Stevenson barely gets hit is because he creates distance very well. When you see Shakur Stevenson pawing with the jab, he's not just pawing out there to play with nobody or tap them in their forehead. He's really trying to see that they can't hit him. He's really one of those fighters where he likes to swim without getting wet. Going against a power puncher like De Los Santos, that's going to be very necessary. And once you see and you look at Shakur Stevenson's defense, he not only does he paw with that jab like that, but he jumps back very far. Which means that De Los Santos, which I'm thinking is shorter, doesn't have a longer reach as Shakur Stevenson, he will have to come in inside and try to fight Shakur Stevenson and hit him. But by Shakur Stevenson jumping back and creating distance with the paw and jab, it's going to create a lot of problems for him. Because we have to understand this. Shakur Stevenson also is not a limited southpaw. He's not a one-dimensional southpaw. I call left-handed fighters, southpaw fighters, when they fight each other, I say it's going to be the war of the right hooks. Because either one of them could throw a right hook at any time and hurt the other opponent. Because most southpaws will not throw a right hook to save their life. They're mostly dependent on their left hand. So this fight right here, you will see, what it's like for southpaws to fight each other. Hopefully, we don't see a lot of, that's orthodox and southpaws, but you won't see too many headbutts like I was finna say. But De Los Santos brings it. He has power. A lot of people are looking at the power situation, but I tell y'all all the time that power is like a missile that don't land. It does nothing if it doesn't hit the spot it's supposed to hit. And going against Shakur Stevenson, a very defensive fighter who creates distance, who leans back, who dodges punches very well. A lot of y'all out here saying that this is going to be his toughest fight, but it's not. Now, credit to De Los Santos. De Los Santos is a very smart fighter. De Los Santos' bread and butter is countering. It's not the regular way of countering where you will hit a fighter when they drop their hand or, when they leave a guard open. De Los Santos attacks you when you are coming out of your offense, when you're throwing punches, and he also attacks you when you are off balance. Uh, One thing that I'm worried about in this fight with Shakur Stevenson is that Shakur Stevenson throws multiple punches, which creates his defense as well. He uses his offense as his defense. Now, I'm worried because Shakur Stevenson could be throwing his combination, and Santos will literally sit there and wait on you to throw 2, 3 punches and come out the woodwork with one of his hardest punches. Now, due to the fact that Shakur Stevenson creates distance, I don't think he might be caught. But what if Shakur Stevenson gets a little bit too close and he feels like he has De Los Santos and De Los Santos throws that punch? Now, the fighter that he fought Foster the third was an orthodox fighter, which means, it may be a little different because most southpaws fight orthodox fighters and that's their bread and butter. They could beat most right-handed fighters easily. But when you fighting another southpaw, it's more difficult because this is somebody who has the same stance as you, and it may be more difficult. So that's why I say it's gonna be a war of the hooks. Now, due to the fact that Shakur Stevenson can lean back as far as he can with his foot movement and jump back, also that he creates distance very well. I think De Los Santos went down against Valenzuela. And he went down against Valenzuela because, like I said, De Los Santos likes to open up when he sees his opponents coming with their offense. He will start throwing punches. But I guess he wasn't expecting the left hand that Valenzuela threw that knocked him down. And we all know that Shakur Stevenson throws a lot of punch output. He's moving up to 135. This is a chance for us to see and witness his power at 135, which I think it will increase due to the weight. So I'm going for Shakur Stevenson in this fight. I think Shakur Stevenson uh, may eventually stop De Los Santos. Coming up in his weight, maturing, being a bigger fighter at 135, which I respect because he didn't duck the fight. He wanted the fight. He's been asking for the fight, but at the same time, you have to look at boxing skills. Power means nothing if it does not land. Let me say that to y'all again. Power means nothing if it does not land. Okay? Now Dylan Santos, he's fast. He's even fast footed. You know, he can move very fast, but also is Shakur Stevenson. But the distance of Shakur Stevenson is gonna be the major factor in this fight. Trust and believe it. The distance that Shakur Stevenson makes is gonna be the major factor in this fight. The tapping with the jab to see where De Los Santos can hit him at. Now, I'm not saying De Los Santos won't never land a shot. For those that hate Shakur Stevenson, gonna get in here and say, "Oh, you saying that De Los Santos won't land none? The little Charlo, the misfit, the out of wedlock Charlo brother, the out of wedlock Charlo brother won't land nothing." No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, he will get off, but I'm just saying due to the Shakur Stevenson style and the way he creates distance, his able to jump back on his feet, lean back with shots, duck under shots. This guy has a percentage in defense that's next to Floyd Mayweather. So the power, if it doesn't land, doesn't mean nothing. Now, due to the fact that Shakur Stevenson, like I said, is moving up to 135, I think he'll be more powerful with the weight added. I'm expecting a stoppage. And even if it's not a stoppage, we have to understand this, which a lot of people gonna get mad because fans are not out there fighting. So fans are gonna be upset. Oh, we were expecting a knockout, this, that, and another. You're not out there not trying to get punched in your face. So, man, my prediction, I'm predicting because his last fight, as I watched, as they talked about the Foster fight, they said he fatigued in the later rounds, which in the Valenzuela fight, he didn't make it into the later rounds for him to fatigue. So I'm predicting that Shakur Stevenson will knock out or stop, or if it goes to decision, Shakur Stevenson will be victorious. That he will knock out Santos in the 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th round. Because since they're saying that he fatigued before and his fight before Valenzuela, which was like 4 fights ago, 3 fights ago, uh, I'm predicting that he might tire out in the later rounds, especially, trying to get towards Shakur, which also this, with Shakur using his jab as much as he uses, De Los Santos will have to create openings, which will get him hit in the fight. He'll have to put himself in danger to really get at Shakur Stevenson. And by Shakur Stevenson's distance, he will be opening himself up for danger. I think he'll last up until the later rounds, from taking damage and trying to give damage. I'm not saying that he won't land on Shakur Stevenson, but I very much doubt it as much as he would on any other opponent. But I see Shakur Stevenson knocking out or stopping De Los Santos 9th, 10th, 11th round. Give me them 3 rounds. Remember this from Easy Work Boxing. 3 rounds. De Los Santos is going to get stopped. A lot of people, like I said, if you're a real boxing channel and you go and look at, you're going to check out the losses, you're going to check out everything. He had De Los Santos quick on his feet. He has power, fast hands. But y'all going to look at the Valenzuela fight because he's a southpaw as well, and y'all going to say, well, but look at the mistakes that Valenzuela made. Didn't create distance, leaning forward towards De Los Santos. Those were the problems he had and why he got stopped in that fight. Shakur Stevenson is not going to make those faults. He's not going to make those mistakes. So I'm going with Shakur Stevenson by 9th, 10th, 11th round knockout from fatigue. Not only that, just abuse from the body and head. Because Shakur attacks the body and head. And, I think he's just not going to be able to do anything from the distance that Shakur and the defense that Shakur has. Now, if Shakur didn't have the defense that he has behind the distance that he create, it may be a different fight. But Shakur is on another level than most fighters. And that's why he is one of the most ducked fighters in boxing to this day right now, like Demetrius Andrade was, like Terrence Crawford was, is because he has defense in that distance. Nobody can really get to him or hit him. So, a lot of people hate his confidence, but his confidence is built off his skills. And I think that nobody is going to be able to, get close to him to hurt him. A lot of y'all looking at Devin Haney as the next opponent or somebody who could probably he'll wipe the floor with Devin Haney. He'll embarrass Devin Haney. Devin Haney don't want no part of Shakur Stevenson. But that's my prediction in this fight. I'm going with Shakur Stevenson 9th, 10th round stoppage, or maybe 12 round decision. Depending on the power of De Los Santos. I'm not counting De Los Santos out, but it's just that like I keep telling y'all, Shakur it's like the Michael Jordan effect. You know how Kobe was, and then there's Michael Jordan. Well, De Los Santos is below Kobe Bryant. You see what I'm saying? And Shakur Stevenson is Michael Jordan, and he all the way up here. Now, even though De Los Santos is a good fighter, and y'all got to understand something, he only 16-0. So a lot of fighters that De Los Santos beat is not on the level of the opponents that Shakur Stevenson beat. Which I'll give Shakur Stevenson no credit for Jamel Herring, Robson Consecao, Nakatani, uh, what did I say? Jamel Herring, Oscar Valdez. These are all former champions. I mean, not all former champions, but most of these are former champions that he went out there and annihilated. And yet y'all give a fighter like Edwin Santos, a guy who fought fights to make his record look good, and y'all looking at them knockouts and stoppages, and y'all saying that, oh, he'll beat Shakur Stevenson. That showed me a lot of y'all are casuals and don't know nothing about boxing. Just like y'all just was saying that Tyson Fury just lost this fight. Y'all don't know nothing about boxing. Y'all don't know how to score a boxing match. Y'all don't know how to look at a boxing match. Because if you say Francis Ngannou, respect to him, won that fight, then you don't know nothing about no boxing. And then I ain't hating on him. He got the same color skin. Well, he darker than me, but you know what I'm saying with the African stuff. I'm not an African American. I'm an Israelite. But at the same time, you know, he didn't win that fight. But Shakur Stevenson is not black. For those that gonna say, "Oh, I'm just going for somebody that look like me." Shakur Stevenson is Puerto Rican, which a lot of y'all have bandwagon now since he acknowledged that he's Puerto Rican. And Edwin De Los Santos is Dominican. So it has nothing to do with race. It's just that Shakur Stevenson is the better fighter. And he will, I think, win by unanimous decision or stoppage by 9th, 10th, 11th round. So that's my prediction of it. Now I'm gonna read what y'all saying, and I'm gonna go in. First, I want to thank everybody for coming on the channel. If you watch the videos and you are a subscriber, please hit your notification bell so you will know when the videos are coming on. You have to go hit your notification bell and hit the 3 buttons and hit always so you can always know when I'm putting up videos. And I thank everybody for tuning in. Legendary Bison, I appreciate you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for tuning in. J Money is going to be a competitive fight. However, know that Shakur will show reasons why there's levels to boxing game. And he will show levels on why nobody wants to fight him and people are ducking him. Tony, what's up with you? Also, if you want to support the channel, go to Cash App. Please don't send a super chat. Super chat don't pay me my money like they're supposed to do. They always cut my money in half. If you send 20, they're going to send 10. So please go to Cash App if you want to support the channel. Okay, much respect in the chat. Stop in to show support and hit the like button. I truly appreciate you, Tony. I think Shakur will turn up in this fight. I think he will start setting down on his punches. He will outclass De Los Santos. I think he'll start sitting down on his punches too, but then we also have to remember weight as power. This will be his first fight moving up from 130, so he's coming into his grown man strength. And if he was stopping people at 130, so just imagine what he's going to do at 135. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and I think he's going to be more powerful. What's up, Easy? Happy Halloween. Thank you, my brother. I don't celebrate Halloween at all, but I truly appreciate you tuning in to the channel. Mr. 18s, what's up, brother? How you doing? And I went live on here. I should have just made a regular video, but I just wanted to go live and talk about it. But, I just think, Shakur Stevenson, y'all think it's a 50-50 fight. It's not a 50-50 fight. A lot of channels going to, like I say, look at Venezuela in the last fight because he was a southpaw and going to say, oh, He's gonna give Shakur Stevenson hell. No, he's not, because Valenzuela didn't create distance. Valenzuela was putting his head over his knee, leaning forward, fighting close with Edwin Santos, and that was his mistake, and that's why he was getting countered and he got knocked out. Shakur Stevenson is not gonna make that mistake. And then y'all got to remember who Shakur Stevenson spars with. He spars with the undisputed two-time champion of the world, Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford can spar southpaw. And there are other southpaws that Shakur Stevenson, who's on another level from sparring with Terrence Crawford, can spar with to prepare him for Edwin Santos. So Edwin Santos already has a first understand. Edwin Santos already has a loss. So those that gonna say that it's 50-50, you need to take that 50-50 and throw it to the ground, because he already has a loss, which a loss does not matter in the sport of boxing, because you can learn, you can become better as a fighter. But if he already has a loss, that means it's a blueprint on how to beat Santos. And from what I understand, the later rounds bother Santos. He can't make it to the later rounds, which is why he lost to Foster. And I watched the video of Foster, and he was talking about how he fought De Los Santos, and he said De Los Santos depends on his power too much. He said when he beat De Los Santos, he really took the fight out of him, took his heart from him, because De Los Santos was so dependent on the fact that he has power that he forgot that it's boxing. See, and I was saying that in the David Benavidez fight and Demetrius Andrade fight. A lot of y'all looking at it like, oh, the power of David Benavidez, he's a monster. He has longer reach. He's bigger. Boxing has nothing to do with your damn size. It is a skill. It's not street fighting. That's why there are weight classes in boxing. Okay? That's why it's like that. Your reach don't mean nothing against a certain fighter. It's swim without getting wet, hit and not get hit, adapting and using your mind. That's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with your size. Don't nobody care because you 6'6". Don't nobody care because you punch hard. You have to land it. You can punch all day. You can punch all day. You could be the most powerful boxer. You could be Deontay Wilder and punch in the air. Do that hurt oxygen? Does it hurt oxygen? Just answer that for me. No, it don't. Your punches have to land. Okay? And by the distance that Shakur Stevenson create, it's going to be very hard for De Los Santos to land a punch. Because he's not going to be there. This guy is, I'm going to say this again so people can remember this. He has the lowest percentage of getting hit above Floyd Mayweather. You know the guy y'all call TBE, the best ever? He has a lower percentage of getting hit than Floyd. So think about that. Now, I'm sure that if the fight comes out to it and he don't, go out there and knock out De Los Santos, the haters of Shakur Stevenson going to say, oh, well, he didn't knock him out. Shakur Stevenson boring. Shakur Stevenson ain't supposed to be out there fighting for you. I'm not supposed to be out there getting punched in my face or getting knocked out for you, because once I get brain damage, y'all ain't going to buy my mama a kitchen table. Y'all ain't going to buy a wheelchair. Y'all ain't going to buy a bed, nothing. The sport is hit and not get hit. Okay? Not for us to sit up there and play rock'em sock'em robot. Okay? So if it does go 12 rounds, don't get on my channel and go, easy, you said it was going to be a knockout 9th, 10th, 11th round. Well, you go in there and fight De Los Santos in the ring then and tell me if you're going to get a knockout in 9th, 10th, 11th round. If you go and check, Shakur Stevenson percentage of not getting hit is above Floyd Mayweather's. 4%. See, this is how I know y'all don't watch boxing. Y'all don't pay no attention to boxing. You just turn on when Tank fighting, and then you make a comment. Oh, easy, you talking about Tank? You a hater of Tank? Get out of here. You hate Tank Davis. You always hating on Tank. This a hate Tank channel. No, I'm a real deal boxing fan that sit up and talk about boxing, bro. That's what I do. I ain't riding nobody coattails. He's gonna have to box smart for the first half, then turn it up in the later round. Of course, we know that. He knows that. Del Santos got power. Now, first, let me say this next. Del Santos has power of fighters that are not up in rank or up in resume. When you move up in resumes and you fight other fighters, most good fighters have better chins. So ain't no telling whether or not he got that power is because he fighting fighters at low level. Ain't no telling because that power may be because he fighting fighters who don't have chins at low levels. De Los Santos is what, only 17, 16 and 0? He ain't made it up to the higher ranks to test nobody's chin. If you know anything about the sport of boxing, most wins come from dummy fighters. And by that I mean fighters who are just set out for you to get their record straight. He ain't had enough fights for y'all to be out here saying that he a real power puncher. He ain't fought nobody with no real names like that. Now respect to Michael Foster, he's 16 and 0. Respect to Valenzuela, but Valenzuela was 10 and 0. He ain't stepped up in the ranks and fought nobody that was 23 and 25 and 2, 25 and 1. For him to say that, for y'all to be saying he a power puncher. If you know anything about boxing, half the fighters when they coming up in rank, those are fights they are supposed to win. He's only what 16 and 17 and 0. I think his power is legit too, honestly. I'm not saying that it's not legit. But what I'm saying is, once you move up in the ranks and you fight fighters who have been there, who have been hit, then you could say, oh, he has knockout power. But when you coming up and you fighting from 0 and 12 and you knocking out everybody, that don't mean you're a power puncher. That just means you fighting lesser competition. Would I pay for a Floyd versus Broner fight? No, not right now. Ngannou did not defeat Tyson Fury. One knockdown in a 10-round fight does not mean you won a fight. He did nothing. He was standing there waiting on counters. He didn't do enough to win the fight. I have to check out Ingram. I don't really know who that is right now to say that he'll have a good fight with Shakur Stevenson. See, this y'all problem. Y'all be putting Floyd on too much of a pedestal. Floyd is one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen fight. Floyd has never been undisputed. Floyd didn't challenge himself by giving us fights that we really wanted to see. He waited to have his opponents was older than what they were. This just being real. This just being real. But when somebody say something, oh, what? There are fighters who are better than Floyd, bro. I used to be lost in the sauce too, as a fight fan. I used to be lost in the sauce about Floyd. Is he the most paid ever? Yes. Has he broke a lot of records? Yes. Has he had the highest pay-per-views? Yes. But that don't make you the greatest fighter of all time. It don't. I don't even see what people saying it was close. Look, I give Ngannou to the third round. I think it was the eighth round, and then I'm gonna give him the fourth round. How can that add up? Okay, I give him 4 rounds. On scorecards in boxing, what is that? That's 2 rounds over, right? Out of 10, right? That's 2 rounds over out of 10. How the hell he won? A knockdown does not win fights. If he would have done more, gave more punch output, been aggressive, not trying to sit there and counter Tyson Fury all night, I would be right with y'all saying Ngannou won. But half of these dudes is casuals. They don't know nothing about boxing. They just seen a knockdown and they think he won a fight. That's not boxing. That's not boxing. You know how many fighters would have won off one knockdown that went 12 rounds? Or 10? Well, we shouldn't even had the fight anyway because I hate UFC versus real boxing. Those are not real boxing matches. I don't even like talking about them, but I had to just come on and make my comments. I got people getting on my channel talking about, oh, this dude just wanted to be controversial. And then shut the hell up. Please support the channel. Please hit the notification, share the videos, share the videos, share the videos. Hit your always bell on your notifications to watch all of the videos. But I got Shakur Stevenson winning this fight, y'all. I ain't gonna be on that long. I'm gonna finish smoking this cigarette, then I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna keep preaching what I preach. Because, you know, there's no bias talk, no racism on this channel. And I give you nothing but facts from somebody who's been watching since he was 8 years old. I am not these other guys. I predict well, and I'm going to make sure you win you some money. No bias talk, no racism. If not unanimous, it's going to be by stoppage. He coming up in weight, y'all. Weight adds power. But I don't knock Edwin De Los Santos. Edwin De Los Santos is a good fighter. You know, I respect him for not, you know, going to negotiations or having to go to no purse bid. They sent him the contract and he signed it. So much respect to Edwin De Los Santos. But he's not going to win that fight. He's not going to win it. I say that Ngannou and Fury watched each other a lot in that fight. Yeah, but Tyson Fury land more shots. It's a point system. It's a point system in boxing. That's what people ain't understanding. So once again, your boy Easy Work letting y'all know who to put your money on. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you should have already leaned towards Shakur Stevenson. But when you hear people out here saying that it's going to be a 50-50 fight that ain't watch no tape or look at nothing and see, you know, the reason that Valenzuela won against his last fight, Edwin Santos won against Valenzuela is simply because Valenzuela didn't create distance, which Shakur Stevenson creates distance and very defensive, and his offense becomes his defense. Then you should know that Shakur Stevenson is going to come out on top in this fight. It's not 50-50. It's, you know, 60-40. 60-40. It ain't 50-50. It's 60-40, y'all. I also can see that too. But I don't think that Edwin Santos reaches long enough and he will have to jump in and probably get countered. Yes, sir, it does. But, y'all, that's my opinion of it. Time for me to get off. I got to get up in the morning. Like I said, please support the channel. Go to Cash App. You know what I'm saying? If you love the channel, love what I give y'all, you know, share the videos that support the channel as well. You know, and hit your notification bells as well. Hit always. And I thank y'all for y'all love and y'all support. Stay tuned. This your boy Easy Work Boxing. I'm out.